On Sports Path, we've got your White Bear Lake Bears taking on the Raiders of Roseville on some softball action courtesy of CTV Sports. And we have some filthy trick shots from Tartan and lacrosse in a couple rainy games. Seriously, these guys are amazing. Join us as we take you down the Sports Path.
Sloppy turnover. Behind the back, jump from him. Unbelievable.
Ground ball finds the hole up the middle.
Steps up, goes deep left side, receiver open, counting, touchdown Titans! Takes a nice shot outside the goal box and he will break the 0-0 tie. Fantastic shot by Kenloff Solon.
Giller makes a move, a good one, opportunity here, the Bears score! The Bears strike first.
He's at the 40. He's down to the 30, the 20, 10, 5, touchdown, Jalen Bryan. Why not? What a beautiful run.
Maureen there, fights her off the puck. Opportunity here, another sit, and a goal! Second chance effort for the Pioneers.
Put the icing on the cake, if you will, Mike. Let it go down and got to the outside and said good evening and good night.
Welcome back, SEC sports fans. As you can see, I'm doing the show here by myself today. The man, the myth, the legend, Sam Erickson is feeling a little under the weather today, so I'll be doing this one solo. We have a great spring sports show for you tonight. It's also one of our last of the 2016-2017 high school sports season. We're doing it live tonight. It's been a few weeks, so let's get you caught up on all your SEC school sports. First, we want to give you some more updates on our rebranding efforts. You may remember us as the old TV19 Sports and On Location TV19. If you haven't heard, we are now going by the same name of the suburban community channels and SEC Sports. Along with the rebrand, we have unleashed a new website. A special feature of this new website is a complete schedule, which is events of our truck will be at to broadcast. All you have to do is go to scctv.org and under the programming menu, click on Truck Schedule. This will show you not only the sporting events we will be covering, but also all the other events we will be broadcasting, including parades, band and choir concerts, you name it. Of course, there are plenty of other features on our new website. It is quite an upgrade from our old one, so we invite you to head over to scctv.org and take a look. But enough of that, let's get into the social media montage. For today's montage, we're going to bring you a tweet from each of the 4 high schools that we cover here in the Northeast Metro. Let's start out with the White Bear Lake Bears. Back on May 2nd, Tim Herman, White Bear Lake Athletic Director, tweeted out a photo of the new press box over at the South Campus. The press box went up recently this spring, and it looks like they just got a new paint job or a decal on the side, but it does look great. Moving on to North High School, some good news for volleyball. Stephanie Blanda has accepted the head volleyball coach position at North High. The North Polars have always been a dominant volleyball squad, and we hope that continues under Coach Blanda. Other breaking news over at North, Joe Janquart, our beloved boys basketball head coach, has gotten a job at Lakeville South as head coach down there, so congratulations to Coach Janquart. We hope the next boys basketball coach at North will continue to bring success to the program. So he's got a heck of a player, and good news, Capigal. Next, Tartan Athletic Director Brian Munter tweeted out that Tartan will have a new boys hockey coach next season. Congrats to Cole Leach on the new position. Coach Leach played hockey for the Winnipeg South Blues up in Canada for a couple of years and has a background in goaltending. So congrats to Coach Leach and good luck next winter during the hockey season. Finally, over at Matamidi, the boys lacrosse team tweeted out the results from their game against Tartan last night. The game was definitely the game to watch, and the Zephyrs pretty much locked up the conference title with the big win over the Titans. They remain undefeated in the conference and stand 8-1 overall. We will bring you highlights of that game later on the show. As always, we invite you to tweet at us. Our new Twitter handle is @SCCTV Sports. We may even feature your tweets right here on Sports Path. So coming up on Sports Path, we have a great rest of the show here for you. Right after the break, we'll bring you some softball highlights courtesy of CTV Sports. So stay tuned on the Sports Path.
Hello, I'm Jody Otaka, host of Inside Healthcare. In this month's program, if you suffer from spring allergies, you know that allergies are bad this spring. And since allergies are one of the top triggers for asthma, local doctors want you to know how to reduce your risk for potentially deadly asthma attacks. We take you inside the urgency room to hear from a local doctor about ways to treat your spring allergies and asthma so you can make this a safe spring. Plus, we hear about a brand new safety program here in the Twin Cities and why it involves more than a dozen Twin Cities police departments. A local police commander joins us here in the TV studio to tell us all about it and what this could mean for you and your family. That's all right here on SEC TV.
Hi, I'm Joe Cullen, host of Northeast Journal here on SEC Channel 16. Every month on Northeast Journal, we give you an inside look at the people and places that make up the northeast section of the Twin Cities. On this month's show, we'll eat some sweet treats in downtown North St. Paul. We'll meet an Oakdale resident who is an expert on professional wrestling, and we'll learn about a printing company that's on a mission. So be sure to tune in to the May edition of Northeast Journal right here on SEC Channel 16.
Folks, we want to remind you that we are always looking for volunteers. Check out these volunteers at the boys lacrosse game last night. It was a bit wet and rainy. That explains the plastic bags over the cameras. But these volunteers stuck it out. If you want to help and volunteer to run camera for sporting event broadcast on SEC, all you have to do is contact Arlen Becker. His contact info is listed on the screen, and sometimes there's even free food. So welcome back to the studio. Once again, I am John Miller, writing solo tonight. My co-host Sam Erickson is sick. We have had a busy spring over here at SEC, broadcasting a bunch of lacrosse games as well as the usual band and choir concert. The month of May gets pretty busy as all the schools have their end of the year show, so check out all the other good stuff out on the SEC Community Channel. Let's give you a little St. Paul Saints news. This summer we will be carrying all the St. Paul Saints home games live on SEC Community through a partnership with CTN Studios in Coon Rapids. We are proud to bring you this live coverage. Check out the Saints schedule on the St. Paul Saints website. The coverage will begin on May 18th as the Saints take on the Gary South Shore Railcats at 7 p.m. Don't miss out on all the Saints games right here on SEC Community in high definition. Now let's get on to some of your Fab Four baseball news. First, let's take a look at the Metro East standings. Last time we talked about baseball, the season had just begun. Let's catch you up on the current standings in the Metro East. Tartan is absolutely dominating. They have a 12-0 record in conference play, and 12-2 overall. Their two losses have come from the hands of White Bear Lake and Woodbury. The loss to White Bear Lake's got to sting a little as they have a very poor record. And currently Tartan ranks in the top 20 in Class 4A. Matamidi is currently 6-6 in conference and 8-6 overall. They are 1-4 in their last 5, and it just seems like their pitching is doing just fine. They're holding opponents to low-scoring games. They just haven't got hot with the sticks. Now looking at North St. Paul, the Pullers sit all the way at the bottom of the standings with a 1-10 conference record, an even worse overall record. It appears the Titans will run away with the Metro East this year with only a few games left. They have a heck of a record in a very tough conference. Switching over now to the Suburban East standings, taking a look, as I said, in the Metro East standings, the White Bear Lake Bears have had a rough go-around this year, currently sitting at 3-8 in conference and 4-10 overall. They have the potential to be a much better team as the win against Tartan shows, but they are currently on a 5-game losing streak and have only scored 4 goals in all of those games. That is less than 1 run per game. That's not the equation for success. So in order to rebound, they need to get hot and get their bats going in the last couple of games. Now, enough with the boys. Girls softball is going on right now as well. Let's see how the ladies of the SEC are swinging the sticks this year. Taking a look at the Metro East standings, currently Hastings is leading the way with an 11-1 record. The North Polars are only a half game behind with a 10-1 record, 15-2 overall. Megan Rubelke is leading the way for the Polars with 5 home runs and 29 RBIs. That RBI number puts her at the top of the leaderboards and currently second in the state. Polars are also getting outstanding play from Kelly Stepaniak and Montana Toll. Tartan is currently 7-5 in conference, 8-8 overall. Marissa Hawkins continues to slug the ball out of the park. Unfortunately, that isn't enough in the standings for the Titans. The Matamidi Zephyrs are currently 3-8 in conference and 6-10 overall. But before we get into the Metro East Conference, we'll take you to a recap of Roseville versus White Bear Lake. So we'll take you to Fairview Softball Complex out in Roseville. Let's see how this game would turn out. Bailey Letourneau on the plate in the top of the first. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Pop fly to the infield. That'd be 3 outs to keep the game scoreless. Now we'll take you to the bottom of the first. 1 out. Brooke Humphreys hits a homer deep over left field. That would be Roseville's first run of the game. Let's see, she's just jogging the bases around there. Always nice to hit a dinger. Now Roseville makes it a 2-0 game with a sacrifice fly in the bottom of the second, just deep enough to tag a runner up for to make it 2-0. A nice gun right here. Luckily for Roseville, it wasn't good enough. It's 2-0 now. There's another run for Roseville in the bottom of the second inning. Go down the bottom of the third. Alexis Kopp hits a homer, same spot as Humphreys' homer in the first inning, deep over left field. There was a runner on second, so that makes it 5-0. Now I'll take you to another bases loaded turn at the top of the fourth. A low pitch gets past the catcher. Runners advance to give White Bear Lake their first run, 5-1 in the fourth. Now the bases are loaded once again. A hit by Caitlin Barger to the shortstop sends a runner home, and an error to first baseman sends another one to home plate. 5-3 now. Roseville still in the lead. Roseville scores 2 more in the fifth and 3 more in the sixth for a 10-3 win over White Bear Lake. They actually play again tonight, May 10th, as we are live with this episode of Sports Pass. So hopefully White Bear Lake is winning that game. So now after that loss, we'll take a look at the Suburban East standings. That game was back on the 24th. Since then, the Bears have not done too well, going 3-5 in their last 8 games, 4-7 in conference, 5-9 overall. So tough season for the Bears. They just don't seem to be scoring enough runs, which seems to be a real problem for your Fab Four schools that are struggling not only in softball but baseball as well. So coming up after the break, we have some lacrosse highlights, standings. Don't go anywhere. This is SEC Sports.
People were killed on Minnesota roads in 2015 as a result of distracted driving, and nearly 8,000 people were injured. I'm Tracy Minarchek.
And I'm Ron Hawkins. On the May edition of Lake Erie Beat, we talk with a family sharing their personal tragedy in the hope that people will put down their phones behind the wheel.
We'll also bring you the story of one local family's struggle with multiple sclerosis and the message they hope people take to heart.
Join us for these stories and more on SCC Channel 16.
Hello everyone, I'm Paul Anderson, host of North St. Paul Notes on Channel 16. North St. Paul Notes is a monthly show that will keep you up to date on the news and events that are of interest to the residents of North St. Paul. This month we're going to learn about 3 popular events: the Silver Lake Splash, the History Cruise Car Show, and the Fall Roundup Parade. So make sure you don't miss the May edition of North St. Paul Notes right here on SCC Channel 16.
Hey everyone, don't forget to follow us on social media. The Suburban Community Channel's Facebook page consistently posts content about all the games we are at. We will also be posting about all the other shows we produce here at SEC. The SEC TV Sports Twitter page will also be tweeting out some good information about all the news surrounding your Northeast Metro Prep sports. So give us a follow on Twitter as well as follow me at JohnSECTV. So welcome back to SEC sports fans. Once again, you can see I'm all by myself tonight as Sam is under the weather for the first time in a few years. It's getting quite lonely up here, so get better, Sam. But before we get into lacrosse, let's give you another program update. This time on the Minnesota Vixen football, just like the St. Paul Saints, will be carried right here on channel 801 in HD. We also plan on carrying some Minnesota Vixen football games as well. This time courtesy of Town Square TV. The next game will be on May 27th against the St. Louis Slam, and then June 3rd, an in-state rivalry against the Minnesota Machine. Of course, if the Vixens make it to the playoffs, we will also carry those games on June 10th, 17th, and 8th. All Vixen games will air on channel 801 in HD except for May 27th game. That'll be carried on SEC Global over on channel 18, so don't miss it. All right, it's time for some boys lacrosse highlights. Let's start off with Tartan versus St. Thomas Academy, or I should say the Sam Lindahl show. Let's take you out to Tartan High School. Only 10 seconds into this one, Charlie Tabaka gets the centering pass, nets the first goal of the game, and this sure would be a high-scoring one. Sam Lindahl, as I said, this was his show. He'll eventually make it 2-0 here. Some quick passing in front of the net. Lindahl with his signature side swipe, 2-0 Titans. Lindahl on the next play will get the assist now to Logan Riley, his first goal of the game. Titans up 3-0 early in this one. We'll be talking more about Lindahl this time from behind the net now. An awesome diving shot puts the ball in the net for his second goal. Let's take a look at that one again. Some great moves by Lindahl. 4-0 now Titans. Titans go up 5-0 with a goal from Jacob Hartzell. He takes it all alone up the middle. Let's see if Tartan's defense will let up a goal here. Eventually they do break down, and St. Thomas gets their first goal with 4:21 left in the first quarter. Luke Williams fires that one in, and that was a fast shot, 5-1. Skipping ahead a bit, 6-3 now. Sam Lindahl gets again behind the net. He waits for the defense to clear up and runs it up easy for a goal. It's surprising no defender went up and played him. He also showed some nice patience on that one. 7-3 now, his third goal of the game. Tartan continues the scoring in the second quarter. A nice feed to Ryan Dickinson makes it 8-3. Skipping ahead now, 9-3. Bobby Veach rockets one from way out, 10-3 now for the Titans. Jacob Hartzell would end up netting another one a short time later, making it 11-3, another rocket from the top. This guy's got some strength. Well, folks, that one was over before it even started. Sam Lindahl finishes the game off. This final goal of the game. Final score, you asked? 21-8. That's right, you heard me, at 21-8 final in this one. Sam Lindahl had 8 goals of his own. That's as many as the Cadets had total. Great game there for Lindahl. Great game for the Titans. This, my friends, is a dominant team, and I would expect the Titans to make it to the section final and maybe even make a nice run in the state, possibly playing Matamidi. Speaking of the Titans playing Matamidi, we had a great game from just last night between these two schools. Let's take a look now. We'll take you to the beautiful Matamidi Stadium out in Matamidi. First goal of the game, Lindahl has it behind the net, breaks the ankles of a Matamidi defender and passes it out to Herzog for an easy goal, 1-0. Lindahl now will take this one himself. He fakes a shot, fools our camera operator, but eventually puts it in for a 2-0 lead. Now Tammy Lindquist is quite the player. He'll take it from behind the net. He centers it to Connor Stoker to open up the scoring for Matamidi. Score 2-1 now. Stoker gets the assist on the next one, passing it to Lucas Hohenbrink, breaking toward the net. That's now a tie at the 2-2 in the first quarter. Tartan takes the lead again late in the first quarter as Lindahl takes it up himself in the middle, now making it 3-2. This guy has all the moves. Tammy Lindquist nets his first of the game. A very shallow angle shot finds the net. He must have put some curve on that or something because he ties it at 3-3. Tammy Lindquist gets the ball again. The same spot as last one with another shallow throw, a drive to take the lead. 4-3, Matamidi now. Guess what? Lindquist makes it 3 from the same spot. Another goal from the same place gives Matamidi a little fire, 5-3 now, their biggest lead so far. Now things start to get a little crazy. Check out this goal by Sam Lindahl. The initial shot goes off a defender's foot, but then Lindahl scoops it under his legs for the goal. There are more of those crazy goals coming up. 5-4 now. Matamidi still leads. Bobby Veach gets another goal late in the first half. His typical rocket from the top ties it at the game. 5 goals apiece now. Sam Lindahl scores his 4th goal of the game as time winds down to the first half. Only 7 seconds left on the clock when that one went in. And Tartan takes the lead to finish out the first half 6-5. The lead doesn't last long, however, as Josh Campbell from Matamidi breaks to the net, ties it back up at 6, only a minute half into the second. Bobby Veach eventually will net another one, just a simple shot on net. Puts Tartan up 7-6. The biggest lead in this game has only been 2 goals, so it's a close one. Now Timmy Lindquist finds himself open at the net, gets the pass, and puts the ball in to tie it back up at 7. Charlie Tobacco will show off his move. Look at this one, another trick goal with a spin move and a blind shot to put the Titans up by 1. 8-7 lead now for Tartan. You thought that one looked cool? Check out this goal. First, a defender misses a pass behind the net, and Sam Lindahl is right there to scoop it up. He goes backwards over his shoulder for a pretty awesome goal. 9-7 now, and that's Tartan's biggest lead of the game. Seconds later, Lindquist gets another one, just hanging out in front of the net. He gets a quick pass for a quick goal, trailing by 1 now. The Zephyrs are. Now let's see if Timmy Lindquist can do it again. He dives in front of the goal through a couple defenders, and Matamidi ties this one up at 9 goals apiece. Let's take it to the start of the final stanza. Brad Herzog picks up a loose ball in the corner and takes the 1-goal lead 10-9. You can already tell this one is coming down to the final seconds. Ryan Pillow has a nice little juke to get past the defender. Score tied at about 10 with 8 minutes left in the 4th quarter, so this is a nail-biter, folks. Everyone is on the edge of their seats as Connor Stoker takes it from behind the net. He finishes the game off just as he started the game with 4 minutes to go. Matamidi takes the lead, and that would end up being the game-winning goal right here. We did end up catching up with Connor Stoker, who started off the game with Matamidi's first goal, and he ended it with the game-winning goal in the 4th quarter. He described the goal perfectly, and a great win there for Matamidi Zephyrs as they take control of the conference.
Well, I'll go down and run and try and grab an interview with Connor Stoker. Final tonight here, Zephyrs 11.
I just took my guy behind, dodged on him, late slide, and I scored. We just really had to persevere as a team. We had to shut down their key players. We just had to play team ball, run our sets, run our defense well. That's how we pulled out the W tonight. I think we just got to keep doing what we're doing, play team ball really, and we can keep winning.
All right, now after that game, let's take a look at the Metro East standings. Currently, Matamidi is at the top with a 4-0 record in conference and 8-1 overall. Last episode's Player of the Week, Timmy Lindquist, is leading the way for the Zephyrs with 27 points and 18 goals and 9 assists. Connor Stoker is second on the team in points with 12 goals and 13 assists. No surprise right now that Matamidi is at the top, even with a junior-laden team. His coach Pete Moosbrugger knows how to get a team to play together as he won a state title with St. Thomas. They are ranked 6th in the state. Tartan isn't far behind, however, as they are currently 3-1 in conference, 7-2 overall. Sam Lindahl is currently leading the state with 61 points, and no one is even near him in the state when it comes to that number. Tartan is currently ranked 11th in the state and have only lost by 1 goal to Matamidi at 8th ranked Rosemount. They could easily be undefeated right now. Now let's take a shift over to the Suburban East standings. Your White Bear Lake Bears are only a half a game behind the leading Park Wolfpack for a tie at the top of the standings. The Bears are currently 4-0 in conference and 4-3 overall. They play Park on May 23rd, which is the last regular season game of the year. So if the Bears can keep winning their interconference games, this could be an exciting finish. Currently, Kyle Preslowski leads the way for the White Bear Lake Bears with 23 points, 14 goals, and 9 assists. All right, so good things from our Fab Five boys. Let's see how the girls' teams are doing. First, let's start off with some highlights from Matamidi versus Roseville. We'll take you out to Matamidi High School once again. Rainy day, you can see a few raindrops on the lens there. Abby Searless gets a goal early in this game, coming from behind the net. 1-0 now for Matamidi. Just off your screen to your left in black, Roseville nets a goal.
As the Raiders try to
1-1
make a
now.
move,
This
the
one's
goal.
all tied up.
Nice
The leading
little
scorer in
interception
Section
there by
5
Ellie
girls
Ryan.
lacrosse
And it's 1-1.
will
Nice
end up
one
netting
record
the
this season.
next one. Ciara
Make it out
Colvard
as a quick
takes
little
it all the
run
way
here.
herself. That explains only having 2 assists this season. She has 32 goals on the year, 2-1 now Roseville. Now from the far side, Matamidi centers it to Abby Searles again. She gets her second goal of the game, 2-2 now. The rain really starts to come down heavy with about 15:30 left to go in the first half when you see the lens getting more and more covered in droplets. We ended up having to take down our cameras as the rain continued to fall. Lightning ended the game, sending the game into a half-hour delay. Eventually, the game was rescheduled. So where does that leave us now? Well, we talked to Coach Heather Ehlers of the Matamidi girls lacrosse team. She said that because the game was so close as they went into the lightning delay, that the coaches decided to just start the game from scratch on the rescheduled date that the game will now be played tomorrow, May 11th, back at Matamidi High School. Well, you never know what's going to happen with this unpredictable Minnesota spring weather. The forecast said it was only about a 40% chance of rain, but it did end up becoming down in buckets for a good chunk of that opening half. The Lightning ended what is sealing the possible deal and forced a reschedule of the match earlier this year. And if you remember, we had the rainy broadcast during a Tartan boys lacrosse game. So, you know, weather just hasn't been too favorable. Now let's take a look at girls lacrosse Metro East standings after that game. Time to see where the Zephyrs are currently sitting in the Metro East. Currently 2 games back from Hill Murray. Matamidi is 3-2 in conference and 4-3 overall. Tartan is 2-2 in conference and 4-4 overall. And rounding out the bottom of the standings is North St. Paul Polars. All right, once again, we'll take a look at the Suburban East standings. If you look at the top of the standings, it's very congested up there with quite a few teams contending to take the Suburban East crown. But if you look closely and shift your eyes all the way down to the second to last team, there you can find your White Bear Lake girls team. Currently they are 0-4 in conference, 2-6 overall. That's enough depressing news for the day. So let's get to something a little more exciting. It's that time for my athletes of the week. The obvious choice for male athlete of the week is Sam Lindahl, number 15 attacker out of Tartan. He currently leads the state in points and goals. He has 61 points in the year and 42 goals. The next closest player in the state has 30 goals. That should be a good enough measuring stick of where Sam Lindahl's level of play this year. This kid has been unstoppable and has a scholarship to play lacrosse at the next level at Rockhurst. And for female athlete of the week, I have to go with another athlete we talked about earlier, North St. Paul senior softball player Megan Rebelke. She is leading the way for the Polars with 5 home runs and 29 RBIs. Those numbers put her near the top of the leaderboards in both categories. She's going on to play college sports as well. So congratulations to you two athletes. It's been a pleasure to watch you play that this year. So you athletes, keep it up. You just might be my next athlete of the week on Sports Path. So let's take a look at upcoming broadcasts. On May 17th, we have boys lacrosse, Tartan versus Simley. Sam Lindahl is absolutely leading the way there for the Tartan team. And then in our first of the year, we have an ultimate Frisbee game, the Classic Suburban Conference Championship. So we have a lot of good stuff coming for you, as well as remember to tweet at me at JohnSCCTV or tweet at SCCTV Sports. We're always looking for stuff for our next Sports Path. As you know, we love our social media montage. We find out about sports that we haven't really seen before. As well as remember, our next Sports Path is coming up on May 31st of this year. Of course, that'll probably be our last Sports Path of the year. So it's been a pleasure to have you guys tonight. As you know, my friend and co-host, Sam Erickson, is under the weather. So if you guys could send your best wishes to him, we always wish for the best as he does a heck of a job here at SCC TV Sports. So our next Sports Path is May 31st. Be sure to check that one out.
Nice play by the shortstop. Top throw over. Oh no.
Center pass in the front for Taveka. Shot in the goal.